All right, Jim, a lot of drama building to this point in the show.
You woke me up with that one.
We're back at the Survivor Series Petco Park and a big match. We were wondering what was going to happen for the Intercontinental Championship. John Cena defending against Dominik Mysterio.
Well, I guess I was wrong when I said I bet you Cena's going to drop it to Gunther on the Saturday night's main event. I was wrong about that. Maybe they got bigger fish for Gunther to fry. But I mean, there was parts of this match that I liked, parts that I understood why they were initially doing it. And by the time that it was over, it became, after it had turned into an Andrew Lloyd Webber production on Broadway or whatever, with everything just comes to a halt it was interesting. Very interesting. They obviously thought that people were going to stage some kind of riot and cheer Dominik in his hometown and boo Cena out of the building. I would imagine that's why they constructed this as they did when they sent Dominik out with Rochelle and Roxanne Perez right off the bat. And they milked Cena's music for quite some time, to the point where you thought, are they going to swerve us? What the fuck is going on? And then they hit the music and the place blew. And I'll tell you, when they showed Cena's entrance, they had people on the floor all the way back to the back, didn't they? And all the way around in the bowl or whatever, because they had like 6 feet in between the video wall and the barricades. But he's having fun, and he got lots of pops, and he got the thank you chants and all that stuff. And then they start, and the very first spot is he hits the ropes, and Roxanne Perez trips him. And Dominik takes over. And I thought, okay, they sent the girls out so that, Dominik would have the heat magnets at ringside, and that would, help establish him more as a heel. And then, not too long afterwards, Rochelle got up on the apron of the ring and just leveled Cena with a fucking punch. And Dominik's healing like crazy. I mean, his body language and taunting the people, and okay, they're establishing that. And then when Cena fired back and Dominik bailed, the girls distracted him, and Dominik stopped him again and beat him up on the floor a little bit. But I wrote at that point, they're having a spot show match. They're doing almost nothing but working the people, and the crowd is loving it. So this is not bad. Although right then, that's when Dominik does the Hurricane Rana off the barricade and lands straight on his head. Was he just trying to take the piss out of Penta with that? Do you think that they did it this week? That specific thing? It was in the news, at least. But then, are you with me so far, Brian? On where they're building up a thing nicely. They're getting the heat. They're having some fun. Nothing out of the way so far.
I'm with you. Let me just say here in advance, this is my favorite match of the night. And I know there's plenty of problems with different things in it, but I enjoyed this by and large more than any other John Cena match I've seen in his comeback or his retirement year. And I'm with you on what you've been saying so far. And of course, that's what I figured too. That's why the women are there. They're there to give Dominik the edge he would need, clearly, against a John Cena. I mean, look at Dominik, look at John Cena. Dominik's a main event heel, not because he's pretending to be a Hulk. He needs a way to get to Cena.
Right. And I will say that I think, who was it? Cena and AJ. Athletically, Cena, that was probably his best in-ring match, but this one had more flavor, more seasoning, more issue, more heel babyface dynamic. So I see again where you're going, and I was going there. And they do the spot where he lands on his head and the referee checks him and they stall and they call for the medic and the doctor's checking him. And I'm thinking, I know although he took a nice looking bump if you were going to claim injury. And by the way, Dominik, 87750 Steve, if it starts nagging you. But they're losing their momentum here. I knew it was going to be a subterfuge. But then in the ring, while the medics and everybody, they're checking on Dominik, Rochelle gives Cena her fucking finish, the big power bomb thing. And then Perez gives her finish thing to him. Doesn't pick him up, but you know what I'm saying. But now the girls are just fucking flinging Cena around. And then Dominik popped up and ran in and gave him a 619 and a big fucking splash, but the referee wouldn't count it because you tricked me, you prevaricator.
Well, let me stop you there because you just recapped a lot. Let's break it all down because this was one of the more interesting parts of the match here. The injury on the floor, did you buy it at all? I bought it. I thought, okay, something happened because they were playing it out so well, but you could tell something was wonky.
Well, at first, when he landed on his head, I said, that didn't look good. But then the longer that it was, as soon as the girls did the spot, I'm like, okay, he's fine. But it looked like he was good because that's, again, an old trope is the word the kids use these days, but to me, it lost some momentum there, but it got the pop when he came in and blah, 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 and that got the referee to kick the girls out of ringside.
Because, one of my first thoughts was, I always think back to like Terry Funk when Mick Foley got hurt in the Hell in a Cell. He knew he had to do something with The Undertaker just to give them time to figure out if Mick was alive. I was like, okay, maybe that's what they're doing here, but obviously that wasn't it. Do you have a problem with Raquel doing a move to Cena and very differently, and a very different kind of move? Any issue with Roxanne doing almost like a Canadian destroyer? I forget the exact name of it, but doing a flipping move onto Cena.
The sunset flip power bomby thingy. But first of all, as soon as I saw the doctors go to check on Dominik and they were doing hand gestures like they were concerned, I'm like, okay, a little thing, but that was the tip off. And then with the girls running in and doing the spots, then okay, he's fine. But I can understand. How about one of them? How about both of the girls do one thing, or Cena had been bending over trying to get up, and the girl flips over him, or whatever the fuck. But I know Raquel is a large lady, but just picking him up and flinging him around. But he's trying to be generous on his way out. But then that sparked his comeback. And the "you can't see me" and etc. And then Dominik had unzipped his boot, like he was going for the boot gimmick, but Cena grabbed his foot and pulled it off and was surprised. So Dom hit the 619 and another splash and got a 2 count and then put his boot back on. And Cena hit an AA and got a 2 count. And then they bumped the referee. And again, Cena goes for the tackle and Dominik ducked, I believe, right? And he shoulder tackled the referee is what he did, correct?
Yeah. And again, it plays into the fact that the referee had a larger than usual role in this match, refusing to count the 3 for Dominik when he had Cena. What did you think of that?
Well, that wasn't bad because that gave the heel a bit of a gripe, but at the same time, the referee was naturally say, "You suckered me. You played me with this, with this bullshit. They playing possum and get your girls out of here." That I could go for, but the referee, but it was a shoulder tackle on this bump, is what I'm trying to say. They have basically. The referee is going to be paralyzed for the next 3 to 4 minutes from an errant shoulder tackle. And again, we go into the musical number in fucking, Oklahoma, where everything comes to a stop and they do their business. And all this time in a pay-per-view match, no other referee has been, hey, fucking Joe's down, Bill, get the fuck out there. Anything. It just, even if you could just make it a little more convincing that the referee needs to stay down for 3 fucking minutes. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
It bugs me. I was taught finishes where everybody is supposed to be accounted for and legitimately involved in something to where they're not going to look like fucking dicks.
Well, you see, Eddie Graham never had that problem in his intricate finishes of stopping for a production midway through it.
Well, anyway, so now the referee's gone. And Cena gets the fucking STFU, and here comes JD and Finn. And they start beating Cena up, but then Cena turns it around and beats them up. And he gives both of them the AA. But Dominik gets the title belt and rolls in, and now I wrote the referee's been down for 3 minutes. And they're still going. Dominik takes his time, swings a fucking belt. Cena ducks, hits him with an attitude adjustment. Now Cena's calling for a referee. Imagine that. But music plays, and it's Liv Morgan. Because I guess, fucking the star of the play was booked, for heaven's sake. It could have been, Rita Moreno or somebody dancing down in the high heels.
What?
Well, this is Broadway now. We've stopped having our match. The match is, we'll do that here in a minute. It's all fucking showbiz.
Big pop for Liv, who hasn't been seen since she hurt her shoulder, and no one knew when she was going to come back, but I gotta say, I didn't hear anyone bring her up in the conversation around this match, so it was a surprise.
Well, and she and Dominik have had a thing. But Dominik's out there with 2 other women. So I wonder if Dominik's thing has come between them. But anyway, go ahead.
Who is stronger? Who is stronger than Dominik's shoot wife? Putting up with the way he's been booked in a relationship with Rhea Ripley, in a relationship with Liv Morgan, who's all over him on TV, whatever's going on with him and Roxanne. Meanwhile, he's got a wife at home watching this.
Well, wait a minute. How old is Dominik now? Do you remember?
I don't remember. 28?
You just did the age thing. So he's 20. Let's say he's 28. His wife has access to his bank book. I'm sure she is fucking fine with everything. But nevertheless, there's Liv and Dom looking at each other. Face to face, they faced each other. And then she swung at him and missed his head, but he sold the shit out of it anyway, but it actually works with what they're about to do. But he went down like Tyson had hit him. And then Liv jumped up in Cena's arms and gave him a big hug, and then he put her down, and then she kicked him right in the balls. Swerve!
A couple of things here. She didn't hit Dom in the best way, which, considering what happened, makes sense. But secondly, she jumped into Cena's arms, and you kind of buy it because she's crazy. And this is after Cena's awful acting, while her and Dom are having their moment in the ring, and they're good at it. Cena doesn't know how to, just be there, so he puts on the droopy dog face and, points and, doesn't know how to react, and
He looked like Jim Varney ringing the bell at the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah, that's exactly, actually, now that I think about it, what he would have looked like. And that's what it looked like, ladies and gentlemen. Ernest watches Dom and Liv. He didn't know how to react, so Liv jumps on him. This is the best thing about the whole thing. This was the comeback. This was the payback. This was the return to the look Cena gave The Rock when he hugged Coney, and you saw that face drop. She jumps into Cena's arms, and the camera's right on her face the same way it was on Cena's, and you see her eyes. Her eyes were never as bright blue as they were on this day, folks. And there she was, and you knew the turn.
It was a dark and stormy night.
You knew the turn, or not even a turn. You knew that she hadn't turned. She was still with Dom. The heels were still together, those good old heels. And that to me was the funniest thing. That was the same thing that Cena did to Cody, and it's never been done again over the rest of the year. This was the only other time. It wasn't like anything to like seal the storyline with The Rock and end that. No, that just died.
I was about to say The Rock had nothing to do with it, and it may never be seen again. Who fucking knows?
There were some major stars this year that were involved in programs that started and just never ended. The Rock's thing with Cena and Cody disappeared. Travis Scott disappeared. Jeff Jarrett's retirement year program. That thing started and just completely fucking disappeared.
He was gone in February.
There's a lot of stars who had programs start and vanish in the same year, but I thought that was interesting. They did that here, and Liv's a big star. Dominik's a big star. I'm kind of happy they're not going to break them up.
Well, but then after the balls were kicked, Dominik hit another 619, and Liv hit Cena over the head with the title belt, and Dominik splashed him. And then the referee, after about 4 or 5 minutes, oh shit, 1, 2, 3. So, and now Dominik is again the Intercontinental Champion. I don't have anything wrong with that. So basically, he beat Cena in Cena's hometown, and then, let me try that again. Cena beat, you know what I'm saying, the hometowns. Each hometown they won in. I don't know how to say it. I'm so flustered. But it's just all of these things happening in the same match. It just a little preposterous, is it not? A little overdone? Too many ingredients in the broth?
See, I recognize that. This is my favorite Cena match of the last year, and that's with the caveat of there's a lot of things. There's way too much that was in this match. There are some things that are ridiculous. The amount of time the referee was down didn't bother me as much just because I'm a little more used to that. The referee refusing to count the pin was a cool moment. The fans were more into this match than anything else on the whole show. And it figures.
Yes.
And it figures considering who was in it, these two guys. But I really like this match. And someone's going to say you're inconsistent because you criticize things with whoever, Riho or something, and Roxanne Perez hit that move on Cena. You're right. Roxanne Perez shouldn't have hit that move on Cena. I have no problem with her tripping him. I got a problem with her hitting Canadian destroyers on him, or whatever the fuck that is. But I enjoyed this. Cena's bad acting, again, that would take down any segment, but it kind of works here. I enjoyed this more than any other John Cena match on this comeback, and a lot of that's specifically because of how good Dominik is. Dominik's matches are enjoyable. The moment where he got injured, whatever you thought, you're a professional. You could tell by the reaction in the room, they didn't know what to think. So when he hopped up and got on Cena, they reacted big. And they reacted big to everything in this match. And again, a lot of smoke and mirrors. You get the big Liv Morgan return. But I enjoyed the hell out of this. I really did.
I will give you that it was the most exciting thing on this show. And I would like, again, part of it was, this is the county fair in Muhlenberg County, basic wrestling at the start, but then just over and over, it's guest stars and people coming in to, now.
Wait, hold on. If I could ask you a couple things, what do you think of them not breaking up Dom and Liv? Because a lot of people assumed when they went to the Roxanne Perez joining Judgment Day thing, that they were setting it up to perfectly have Liv Morgan come back. Now what's happened to Rhea Ripley has happened to her with the same guy. It would make sense. That's not where they went. I mean, they may still do something with her and Roxanne, but they didn't break up her and Dom, and I think that's the right move, and I almost feel like in years past they would have immediately had her come back and turn her babyface.
But no, now's the time because she's already over. So now's the time for her to come back, and everything with her and Dom is just like it was before, and Roxanne ain't happy about that. And Roxanne can become a backstabbing home wrecker. See, wait a minute, she's back now. I got to do something as she rubs her hands together, and then you could put more focus on Roxanne.
Oof. Well, again, a good match. Dominik Mysterio, the new Intercontinental Champion. We'll see what happens in the fallout on WWE Raw. But Jim,
Yes.
there were more matches, but before we get there, no better time than now to talk about music.
None better.
John Cena, known for his hip-hop sounds, known for his one album, known for the one song on the one album that's been played nonstop for 25 years. Folks, we're talking about good music. You need to be able to hear them somehow. We know a way. We love them in our house. You'll love them in yours with Raycon.
You mean to tell me that on the Raycons you can hear the hip hop, hip hop? You don't stop a rockin' to the bang bang boogie. Say up, jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. That stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, in that case, you know what you need, not just the
I need a color TV so I could see the Knicks play basketball. We could do this all day, man. Let's go.
Hear me talking about checkbook, credit card, more money than a sucker could ever spend. Folks, if you are looking for Raycons, not just any old Raycons, but the essential open earbud Raycons that even Big Bank Hank uses. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you what, when they arrived at the Castle Cornette here via special independent courier, and I took them in and handed them to Stacy. Of course, I'm under instructions to always hand over all the Raycon stuff to Stace. She said, "Oh, yes, because these are the ones with the gimmick over the ear. So you don't stick it in your ear, you hang it over your ear. And that way, the regular earbuds, they block out everything. So it's like the car that's bearing down on you or the child that's screaming, 'I'm drowning, mother!'
What?
Well, these sit outside your ear canal, so you can hear that as well as your music. So at the same time as you're pulling your kid out of the pond, you can be grooving to the beat.
Again,
It's the open air design, breathable fit,
Yes.
comfort, safety,
Now this part's
and
true.
immersive audio while keeping you aware
Yes.
with a multi-angular hook. The rotating ear hook ensures a secure, personalized fit for any activity.
As
And let's say,
opposed to the no angle hook, and that's on Dynamite.
well, that's true, but also these hooks actually make money. And here's something else for any activity. Let's say you want to unstop a drain. You just bend this ear hook a little multi-angularly and you stick it down in there. You pull out that big hunk of hair.
Well, there it is. The moment that we've been waiting for. We have to remind everyone that's not what these are intended to be used for or how they're intended to be used.
Well, see, they've got all kinds of uses. I mean, sometimes if you put these in a slingshot just right, you can peg somebody right in the eye and bing.
Let's
put
not
somebody's
do that.
eye out with that type
Don't
of thing.
do that. Don't hurt anyone. Don't say where you heard that idea. But of course, folks, we're talking about what you can hear.
Yes.
And you can hear lots of musical ideas. Yes.
Ooh, music. They're lightweight. With the flexible ear hook, which adapts to any ear, even, the feather bottoms with their issues, they were able to they had to rig it up with a zip tie, but they got it around that one ear. They've got the multi-point connectivity and 36 hours of battery life. So you get days of nonstop listening. It's the essential open earbuds as opposed to the everyday earbuds that we've talked about in the past. And they're here for the holiday season and they're selling fast. And then once the holidays are gone, you don't know. They may be gone because then people are back to being just deaf and completely dumb, stupid, and unaware of their surroundings. You can run them down in the streets with complete freedom and not worrying about them actually hearing you coming.
There's plenty to worry about. But what we want to stress to you is that some of the examples used in this commercial read may not be approved for home consumption.
I'm just telling you that normally people around the holidays are a little more aware, and then they go back to their own stupid, self-absorbed ways, and they either get run over.
No, they go back to their ways. They go back to their ways.
They fall in the fountain.
The fountain of life. Yes.
These Raycons, if you do not pay attention to where you are and fall in the fountain, they won't fall out of your ears. But it's not recommended that you submerge them for more than Oh, 30 seconds to a
No,
minute.
you don't have any
Just
idea what
until
any
you get
submerging
dizzy.
recommendations are. This is ridiculous.
If you're underwater long enough that when you come out you're kind of dizzy and they need to pump anything on you, chances are the earbuds are going to be fucked too.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about all of our days on average on land, maybe even in air. But wherever you are, you want that music safely to go with you, Jim, without any other examples, because I think the listeners get the idea.
Get the idea. Without any further ado, whether you're on land or way high in the air, the higher you are, the better you like the Raycons, the essential open earbuds, and the Raycon audio products are up to 20% off this holiday season if you go to buyraycon, BUYRAYCON, buyraycon.com/JCE Open to save on the Raycon audio products. As I said, up to 20% off with that code JCE Open at buyraycon.com. And that way, you know, if you make it after the holidays and you want to take a chance walking down the street with the old-fashioned kind,
there's never been a better time than now, is what Jim's trying to say, ladies and gentlemen. Raycon, and once again, that promo code buyraycon.com/JCE Open